Much sense. I have welcome to the projection room. I guess we'll get into explaining that a little bit later, but it means that your comments will now be here, so all of the appalling things you say will be remembered throughout history. So hi CMC. Why you hate hits so much? For police. Wonder what our favourite police snitch has been. Professional snitching. Howard teased some big revelation, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it was in relation to. I'm oh yeah, and there's no ASMR this week. I can actually talk out loud because I'm in an apartment that has a projector. It's a long story. Let's have a look and see what everyone is saying. CMC, ladies and gentlemen, masters and princesses, live from the BBC, back broadcast, Corporation HQ. Thank you very much. Loon, hi Howard. Hi, he's saying hi to me. So hi Loon. So how good was that new Lisa song? You'll have to wait for my review to find out, won't you? It also depends on if you're talking about the one I think you're talking about, because there's been a few recently, because her album's coming up and she's got like promotional things everywhere. So it's that kind of phase where if you go to buy a bottled drink, it's got like a Lisa promotion on it. So I'm still not sure if this is the best camera angle, because at this camera angle I can't really look at the camera without blinding myself, because there is a projector there. Unless I just put a black dot over my face, and then hi, I can look at you. Alright, so that awful moment when you're playing some first-person RPG and Becca's music starts and you wonder what kind of monster is that what happened? I like that idea that you don't have to click on the notification, just the music starts and you get summoned by my out-of-tune shamisen. Yeah, it's beer as well. Oh, to be able to make noise. So anyway, this is all part and parcel of the fact that you guys might have noticed as well, there was more reviews this week, which I'm really happy about. I'm really happy to be getting reviews out to you guys. See what everyone is saying. The one that was premiered 30 minutes ago, in which case I don't know how good it was, because I was at the shop buying beer and then coming back and setting this up. I don't know why I didn't get a notification that there was a new song coming out though. And then it appears, and your worst fears are realised. Lisa was okay on first listen. Okay, interesting. Well, I can check that out, but I can't check it out now, because if I check it out now, we'll get a copyright block. It looks like this is some kind of tech stream. I've just looked at the frame. It looks like we were watching some kind of tech stream. Although most tech streams, the guy doesn't sit on his bed. And credit to the person who thought it'd be a good idea to put a projector screen over your bed. just saying. Oh dear. Beer, anyone? Alright. I must remember the computer's a long way away. If I want to read the comments, I have to turn and read them on the wall. Writings on the wall. CMC lol. Worst fears are real. What? Oh right, okay. Following the comments back. Alright, so we have got a few things to chat about today. Now, first things first, I'll get into the fact that, like I say, channel's been ticking along quite well. Not still nowhere near as fast as I wanted it to be. A few things did come up this week which slowed me down a little bit, but I still managed to get on top of things. Now, you guys might have noticed I did a flurry of reviews that were recorded in a karaoke room across the street from my place because I'm just having so many sound problems trying to record in there. It's just too much. It's good because I don't really have the money for anything much more, but it's bad that it's like, you know, the sound problems are just causing me an absolute headache. So I went across to do the recordings at a karaoke room, where they tried to rip me off on the cost, which was at first they showed me the price, and then when I went to leave they changed it. I was like, yeah, I'm not that stupid, I know what you're doing. It's like, you've changed the hourly rate because I'm leaving at a different time. I was like, no, we agreed the price when I went in. So anyway, but yeah, that's the nearest thing to get ASMR you getting today. So yeah, it was a good opportunity though to record a lot of reviews. So I've got quite a few reviews stored up now, which I'm just editing and uploading as time allows. But I wanted to do more. The Asian Kung Fu Generation one is still on the channel, but hasn't been put live yet. I should probably put that out sometime soon. I'm trying to get the ones for songs that have like just come out, because a lot of songs have come out recently. I'm trying to get those ones out first, because the Asian Kung Fu Generation one, that's for a song that's been out for a little while now, so I can save that for a few days. It doesn't matter, and obviously you guys have all seen it anyway. Anyone who's on the Discord's already seen that one. If anyone wants to see it, it's unlisted on the channel, and I'm sure someone will drop you a link if you want. So look and see what everyone is saying. Almost Premium Beer opened. That's right. Talking of Almost Premium Beer, something has occurred to me. There's something I should have done before I started this stream that I forgot to do. And it gives me a wonderful opportunity to do this. I'll be back in a moment, alright? I need to go to the toilet, and I neglected to go to the toilet, so I'm going to go to the toilet. Hang on in there. Crikey. That was so big my ears popped. Alright, I'm back. Let's get the... Yeah. Alright, and we can see what everyone was writing while I was in the toilet. I'm in frame. Good, I can sit to one side and I can relax, put my feet up and read your comments in real time. Oh, there's balls. Kind of awkward. Okay. See Rick Bito's reaction to Bandmade yesterday? No. Yes, new Unstoppable Regal Lily song too. I will listen to it, because if it changes my mind, then that's good. If it changes my mind, then I'm all for that. He blinked and missed it due to over compression. Oh, that was in Ruga. I still don't really know anything about the Rick Bito's reaction, so forgive me, I can't comment. I can hear a tinkling noise and the creak of the toilet lid. Well, first of all, you couldn't hear the creak of the toilet lid because it's an electric toilet that opens itself. That was probably the creak of the door. And tinkling you didn't hear because I wasn't tinkling. So we go. Pot, indeed. Actually, I was hanging out with a friend the other day and we were walking through Ueno Park, and just out of nowhere, they start going into the pigeon song. Like, this is a song that they teach kids in Japan, and it's like all about something, pop, 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 pop. And I just started laughing. Because she didn't know why that had extra significance for dear old me, but still. So the bog roll does a better service than the GM IV, but still not as good as the bears would do. Poo bear po. Okay, so interesting. We're getting some really fascinating comments here today, I see. So, got a few videos to come out sometime soon, but I was kind of interested. First of all, is there anything you guys would like me to project? Well, I've got a projector because I'm not going to have it next week. I'm only here one night. If there's anything you guys want me to project, please feel free to request projections. Otherwise, I'm just interested to know what you guys think about some of the songs that have been coming out. Any songs that you want to make sure that I absolutely do cover. Obviously covering... I enjoyed covering that Aina song as well, of Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra. That was a really good one. Let's put myself in the... Yeah, I'm in the blue area. No, it's better. I'll put myself in the side of OBS. There we go. Yeah, the Aina the End song was really good. I really enjoyed that meme Tokyo song as well. That was amazing. Very much appealed to me in a way that I know was not going to be universal, but I just ticked all the right boxes for me. I really like that. Yeah, no, I've heard some really good songs come out recently. Sets the bar quite high. If anything, actually, as you guys probably noticed, the one that I had the most trouble with, and I am doing an album review which has some stuff to the contrary of what was in the single review, but the Kyary Pamy song Candy Racer just didn't click for me. There wasn't enough there to click. It felt incomplete. It felt like an idea, but yeah, just very derivative and not very interesting. Decent chorus, but like I say, a shadow on some of the better ones she's done, which is kind of made up for by the fact there was some really good singles on this album already, and there's some other really good songs on there which I'll cover in the album review. But yeah, Candy Racer, I didn't click with that, and I've given it subsequent listens, and it hasn't got any better for me. And I say this as someone who, as you guys know, I really like her music. I find her very sort of enjoyable, charming. I just think she's a really great presence. But yeah, that one felt like a total letdown for me. Alright, so there's comments coming in. Why am I reading them on the computer screen? I've got to get used to this. Also, new Glim Spanky song with music and lyrics by them, vocals by a virtual vocalist. So is it actually a Glim Spanky song then? But do you mean like a Glim Spanky authored song? Interesting stuff though. Definitely worth checking out if they're right. To be honest, for me, one of the biggest things about Glim Spanky, their writing's good, but her voice is amazing. To be honest, Howard, we can't really see what you're projecting. It's mostly blurry and overexposed. Really? Oh, that's a shame. So you can't read this? Just getting a bit closer. So I can see what it's sending out. I'm going to get my big bald head close. Yeah, it does look a little bit overexposed, doesn't it? Oh well, I'm reading. Bring back Saucy Dog on the projector screen. No, I'm not bringing back any music videos that are going to get me done. Yeah, the new Glim Spanky is actually pretty good. Akane Wilkes pictures on the projector. It's like an infinite mirror effect. Not for review, but have you heard the Duran Duran collab with Chai? No, I have not heard that either. It is. I noticed there is a bit of a infinite tunnel effect going on with this as well if you sit in front of it. But still, there you go. So projection time. Oh yeah, look, I didn't even have to look at my computer screen. I can see what you can see right here. Yeah, that's blurry, isn't it? Can we make that any better? I wonder if I should move the camera over here. Just pop it next to the comments. That might actually be better. and then you wouldn't see me, which would probably also be better for you. Let's see about moving the camera. This is fantastic. We've got one day here, and we're going to spend the entire thing just working out what the best way of doing this would be before probably ending the stream. All right, let's pop you down here by the glass. There we go. You can just see a mattress. Beautiful. Is that any better? No, it's not. And no, that's achieved next to nothing. Although you can see my shadow. That's wonderful. All right, so let's have a look and see what everyone's saying. So you have heard some good songs, but then bandmates since Hibana Karalian into Every Life Some Rain Must Fall. Fail? Oh, fall. Po. Dodgy video clips, the blurriness will act as censoring. So just in regards to CMC, CMC I think is it sounds like he's casting aspersions upon the new bandmate single. I don't know. It's hard to tell whether that's a positive or a negative comment. And I can see that Rev's comment is certainly what I think everyone is thinking right now, but don't know if I can get away with that. Transmitting blurry images of something that's probably already pixelated probably isn't going to get me any more or any less blocked. There we go. So I guess this is better. Okay, we'll do it like this for now. It seems that no way is particularly brilliant, but hey, it's interesting to play with a projector. Shadow puppets. It's not sure if it's gonna just go for the dog with the how do you do that again? And the dog has the eye and the oh my god, oh it's like that, isn't it? And then you put the eye through it, and even that's blurry. There you go. That's the best you're getting from me. All right, let's see what everyone is saying. Let's finish some more ones. Oh wow, a lot of comments have suddenly come in. Maybe you can make out the faces of Scandal and Chai from the photo I shared on Discord if you put it on the large projector screen. That's probably not a bad idea. Scott Shadow Puppets. Oh, I read that already. Bride Ear banged up apparently, rocking new prison jumpsuit uniforms. One too many drive-by shootings, maybe. Obviously not banged up next to Sai Sai. Yeah, I was wondering about what was going on with Bride Ear, because there were some pictures posted of them recently, like seeming to be ready for some kind of video or performance. But I'll keep an eye on them as well. I heard they're up to some stuff, but they haven't been getting as much success as I think would be nice to see them getting. Maybe it's because of review channels taking over a year to review their music. So if you want Shaky Vomit Cam to continue, press like. Have we already reduced ourselves to shadow puppets? Yes, Loon. I'm sorry that while we await suggestions, that is what we get. So it. Oh no! I knocked over the beer. Oops. One moment. Must recover precious alcohol. Good. We're still alright. It's going to be one of the most meaningless streams we've ever done, just in case you guys hadn't already worked that one out. So let's see if we can't get to grips with Discord. Alright, we're going to pop Discord up for a moment, and then I can take images that you guys send me on Discord and put them on the projector, because why not? At this point, why not? That's kind of what we've been reduced to. So why am I in this room would probably be a relatively fair comment to ask. There's a few reasons. Overall though, It's more the results that I'm happy with, which is that just being able to speak out loud. No, I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy to have the other place. I'm happy to have somewhere cheap, and it is good. It's got a little kitchen and everything. But just being able to speak out loud, being able to just come in, close the door, and I'm home. Even if it's just for one night, I am very much enjoying this. So, yeah, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I think I was going a little bit mental in the other place. Let's see. There we go. Open Discord in your browser. I would like to open Discord in my browser. And let's go there. Alright. What are you people posting? Alright, so if anyone wants me to pop anything on the projector, by all means, send it through to me now. And I will do exactly that. Or maybe, do you think it'd be better if you guys put it in the general chat, or if you DM'd it to me? I'm open to suggestions. Talking of suggestions, let's see what you guys are talking about. This is really hard to juggle all these things at once. Where's OBS gone? Oh, there it is. Alright. So, Sake plus shaky equals vomit cam. Quality entertainment, Loon. Thank you. It would seem so. So symbols in the Far East and West. The Brideer. They have got the emblem, very famous, with a certain German political organisation who went somewhat genocidal. However, that, as I think a lot of you probably know, that symbol significantly outdates its German application, and is also, if you go anywhere in Japan, you'll see it on the maps, because it basically just denotes a temple, a shrine. It's not what it appears. If you see the shadow of a bear holding on a can of beer and glass, it could turn out to be a snuff movie. Though it might get a few more likes that way, albeit temporary. Thanks for that, man. Thank you for the Hey, we got 10 likes. We got 10 likes. Thank you to my 10 like. Thank you, 10 like people. That's appreciate it. I appreciate you pressing like. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Are we going back to inappropriate Scorpions album covers? Probably not. No. Well, the stream has a certain French Nouvelle vague aesthetic right now. Wonky camera angle, out of focus faces, the whole shebang. I guess it does a bit, doesn't it? If only I could make it black and white. No, I'm not going to do that again. One black and white stream was enough. On December 24th, Scandal will be holding their near annual Best Christmas concert in Tokyo. I believe they'll be using the same venue as last year's season's concert. That's confusing into a sentence. Makes sense, especially considering that last year, I imagine there was a lot of people who weren't able to come for various reasons. So I imagine they would probably repeat the venue. Plus, if you're doing an annual thing, it's good to do it in the same venue, isn't it? Sammy says, any idea if it'll be streamed? Well, that's a good point. Greetings, Fernando. Greetings from Montreal. Welcome to the projectionist's room. I should have brought some cardboard, and I should just project it on cardboard. Projection palace. Ah, dear. So, yes. So, as I mentioned, this is a nice little setup just for this 1 week, though. Who knows? Might come back and do more of them here. But considering the cost of having to use the other place wouldn't have been, well, it wouldn't have been free. This has its little benefits. Thought I'd give it a try, give it a little bit of an experiment while I'm here, see if it came out quite well. Having a bit of fun with it at least. Oh, that's the point. Let's have a little look at Discord and see. Would anyone post anything to be placed? Maybe not. I probably shouldn't be showing private messages on the screen. No, I don't think anyone's posted anything to be placed. There we go. So we're okay. Wow, real high-tech setup. Not so much, no. Not so much high-tech. But Oh wow, that projector is really bright. Don't look at the projector. So, yeah, interested to know what you guys have been enjoying recently, what music's been coming out that you guys have been getting into, and obviously bring up any questions you'd like to about anything you've seen or heard, or certainly anything we've reviewed. I would say that so far, as I pointed out before, this week's been a really good one musically, in my opinion. Lots of good stuff came out. I was kind of surprised to see that the band whose name confuses some and annoys others, Elfriede, whatever, they've released a new song. So I'll be popping a review of that out sometime soon as well. I'm glad to see them back because, as I pointed out, we're looking for bands who can kind of go into that space where Silent Siren were. And, you know, obviously we're hoping Silent Siren will be back, but I think they're one of those bands who can at least fill in a little bit of that space for a moment. Taking my socks off because my feet is nasty. So yeah, I was happy to see them back, and they did a really interesting song actually. Didn't break any new gates, so to speak, but yeah, I thought it was an interesting choice, the song they went for. Oh, sorry, long day. There was some nice little things in that song that really made it, gave them a little bit of a sound, gave them a little bit of identity that really worked. Do you have any poll results to review? Don't think you did them last time. That's a point, actually. We should do those as well. We will do the poll results today. Thank you for Bleats for mentioning. We've got to go through our stonks results. Mine says 690 subs. Dancing socks already. Yeah, I was going to mention we are close. We are getting close to 700. If it works, go for it. Indeed, thank you. Harry, I'll read your comment here. Oh, to Sam. I haven't heard anything about streaming it. However, I think the promotional posts I've seen linked to... Okay, alright, so yeah, there might be streaming information about the Scandal Live, but we don't know yet, and if Harry doesn't know, then no one knows. Alright, let's find a nice comfy place to sit. Can I just lean around trying to lean? It's very strange. It's very, very peculiar, and I got my feet in your face. Apologies about that. Maybe if I don't stick my feet in your face, that'd be a bit nicer. Or maybe I will. Maybe that's the price you pay for results. So I can check how much foot I'm sticking. Oh, I'm not sticking any foot in your face. Oh, that's a shame. Oh wow, I'm actually not even visible. Okay. Oh, you didn't get to see my beautiful feet. Alright, I'll just sit here then. Fair enough. Let's have a little look and see what's going on. Because the problem is the camera's black. Everything's bright over here, but the table's black, so I can't really see where the camera... Oh, now I can. Yeah, I can see the camera. Alright, let's have a look and see what's been going on in the polls. So, we did that one. Yeah, we talked about favourite albums. Alright, I think I know roughly. Yeah, this is roughly where we picked up. So, interestingly enough, we said, in retrospect, because I thought this was an interesting question to ask, given the amount of time that's now gone by, what was the best baby metal album of the first 10 years of their existence? Now, no one's going to be surprised the order that they came in. It was more the ratio that I was interested in. So, Metal Resistance got 63%. I'm not too surprised about that. The first baby metal album got 26%. I was wondering how many people would vote for that. I really like that, but obviously it's got probably the most clear poppy elements in it. I think that's definitely the fusion album of the three, although the third one, Metal Galaxy, tries to go for that. Certainly the first one is the one that has the most of a sort of clear, in-your-face form of fusion about it between pop and metal. But I thought 26 was good. Over a quarter of people, over 1 in 4 said they liked that one the most. And I was impressed to see about 1 in 8, 12% said Metal Galaxy. So at least that album wasn't completely abandoned. I know a lot of people just really don't like it, but it was nice to see that one doing well. Now the next one's a really interesting one. If you were to guess what percentage of the music you listen to would be considered either hard rock, metal, or simply anything heavier than conventional rock. So in other words, what proportion of the music do you listen to is something that most people would consider to be heavy? I really like this because I separated the poll answers into, basically 0 to 25%, 26 to 50%, 51 to 75, 76 to 100. So where in that bracket of quarters do you go? And I was really, really impressed at just how even the results were on this one. I don't know if that's probably too bright to be seen. Yeah, it's not going to show up. All right. But anyway, the point is that we got, so 76 to 100% of the music is either heavy or metal or just heavier than normal rock. 29% of the people said that was true for them. 51 to 75, so more than half, but not like a huge amount. Another 29%. 26 to 50%, so less than half the music you listen to is like heavy. 24%. And then 0 to 25, basically meaning, it's like a quarter or less of the music I listen to, was still a good 18%. So just the fact that the scores were so even on that, I was really impressed by that. I thought that was just such an indication of how, what a good balance of music liker we have on the channel. So look and see what people are saying. We can discuss Ina's barking song. Does zocking mean anything in any language? I couldn't find a translation. Well, we were discussing that briefly before, and in the video you might notice that I don't know what it means. Because the king bit's kind of strange. Zoki, but ing? Because that definitely means they're going for an English word then, but zocking isn't a word I know. Well, it could be any Western language, I guess. Hey, Neon! Feet stream now. You want that 700 subs bad? Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to get people to unsub so I don't have to do it. Loon, 63% of people are wrong. That's some bold words. I enjoy them, and I don't know. It's hard. I didn't actually give an answer for that. I don't know which one I'd go for. I guess I would still go for the first album, but there's things that I like about all three of them. Sammy says the first album feels like a gimmick album. In retrospect, yeah, this is the problem, isn't it? When you say about a gimmick, there's no doubt you're definitely right. But the point is I know you're not making this statement, but when someone says something like that, the first thing that comes to mind is, do we mean gimmick bad or gimmick good? If we mean like certain songs are being done just for the sake of doing them like that, I'd say one of the reasons why it worked so well and one of the reasons they got so big is because none of these songs just felt like they were mashing things together for the sake of it. They felt very organic. So it might be a gimmick in that it's something you haven't heard, but not a gimmick as in a sort of cheap, a cheap thing, so to speak. Metal Resistance is my favourite, says Neon. I'm not surprised by that, man. I'm not surprised about that at all. But good choice, yeah. That would be really tearing away at me as well for that one. Sammy, the first Baby Metal album, that is. Yeah, absolutely got what you mean there. Harry, Metal Resistance I think was their best album. Metal Galaxy was a huge disappointment for me. I think a lot of people agree with you on that. It wasn't such a disappointment for me, but I would definitely say Metal Resistance to me was better than Galaxy. But it lacked some of the things that Galaxy had as well. They both had certain things that the others didn't. That they each didn't have. And the same goes for the first album. Loon says the self-titled album was by far the best album. Every single song is top tier. The MR album is about 50-50, and Metal Galaxy album is, well, not worth mentioning. Interesting. So, interesting to see someone who really enjoyed self-entitled but didn't enjoy Metal Galaxy. Yeah, I agree. I do think that first album's really brilliant. It's hard to know because like Metal Resistance isn't building on top of it; it's going in a different direction. So it's kind of hard to compare them. They almost feel like they're not the same thing. Not of the same. Not cut from the same cloth. Oh my! New Wednesday Campanella new song was okay. Ooh, I didn't know there was a new one. Oh, I'm after that. Yeah, she has gone a bit mad. She has gone a little bit weird. But I do love Wednesday Campanella. It's a really interesting group every time. Sammy, Metal Galaxy had even less emphasis on the band, with Mikio passing away. One Photo of the Girls Gone, and was mostly a Sue album. Nothing wrong with it, but not really babe metal. I had never thought about it like that, but I'm going to give you a pointer there. Partly as well, the use of collaborations, although I had predicted the use of collaborations on that album before it came out for other reasons, there is a truth that the album having a produced sound, less band focus, you guys had told me that they toured afterwards and Kyary Band became like a fluid concept. It wasn't even like the one group of people. And, you know, prominent leading from Sue. It did kind of feel like a Sue metal solo album. I'd never thought about it like that before, but that is a really interesting point. Metal Resistance was their metal album, hence why metal fans prefer it. Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that's the reason. But by the same token, I mean, usually that would be a reason for me to go a bit too monotone and not like it. I mean, you know me, I don't like albums that just go, hey, we're going to be heavy all the time. But the reason why Metal Resistance is different from that is because I actually think it contains some really solid writing as well. It has got some songs that don't quite work for me, but it's got some really good solid writing on there. Where were we? Okay. CMC. Babe Metal, not a band with a gimmick rather than a gimmick band. Yeah. Babe Metal are a band with a gimmick, not a gimmick band. Same thing for Bandmate, obviously. Yeah, I guess it's which one comes first. I would say it's pretty clear that they are, you know, they're trained as singers. They love music first and foremost, and the gimmicks allowed them to find more music they love. I mean, if it was just a gimmick, then we wouldn't have had Metal Resistance, because Metal Resistance is where you can see them really slipping into it and enjoying it. Even if they hadn't known at first that's what they wanted to do for their musical careers. Sammy says, so to gimmick bad, gimmick good, it's still a very good album, but compared to Metal Resistance, it felt more thrown together for the shock value. I can't argue against that. I think it's a valid sort of valid form of approach, but I just realised I get notifications on Google come up at the same time. Let's see how many notifications I get, because usually it fills up the screen, so maybe it'll cover chat. Actually, yeah, okay, when I get notifications, I'm not going to close them next time, I'm just going to let them go up the screen. See if I can read all them. Yeah, that's something that happens a lot. You don't see this, but this happens a lot during the streams usually. I'll be reading your comments and then just like Google notifications start appearing in front of you. Although I do just realise that means that anyone from like Facebook, if I start getting Facebook messages, you're going to see all my private messages. Fair enough. Maybe shouldn't be sharing that kind of stuff. Although, actually, no, did you guys? Oh, you guys wouldn't. Maybe, sorry, I don't know. That would be kind of fun though. Yeah, I'm going to let them just build up the side of the screen next time and cover chat. So then you can see what I go through. So anyway, where was I? Sorry, I'm in a very lethargic mood today because I'm just so relaxed and happy to be in a space where I can chill. Alright, where are we going? Where did I got to? Thrown together. I think Babe Metal were almost undeniably a gimmick band. It just worked. Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to remember where they came from, the Sakura Gakuin side of things. You know, I mean, look at the other like little mini bands that came out of Sakura Gakuin. I wish I could remember the names of all of them, because some of them were really funny, but like the chef ones with the cooking song with the... I reviewed it on the first channel, where they were running around singing about like flipping burgers or something. That was one of the side projects that came out of that. You know, they were... Yeah, there was a gimmick to it, but the whole reason it worked is because you can do a gimmick one of two ways. You can do a gimmick because you're just selling the gimmick, and the gimmick is what you're selling. Or you can do a gimmick because you see creative application to it. And to me, there's no doubt, in looking at the way the music was written for Babe Metal, that even if the person who designed it, you know, saw it as a gimmick and the writer was the one who took it seriously, clearly someone saw the potential and said, we're going to do something properly here. So a gimmick can be the inspiration that hangs around as the framing. Martin, Baby Metal's first album was just too adorably funny. However, Sue Metal's voice certainly got better, richer, and more mature as she got older and more experienced. I think most people can agree with that. Howard, why is no one interested in Kyary, Pamy anymore? That's a fairly... yeah, I mean, the reasons in Japan, she has exactly as much fame as you'd expect her to have, considering that she was, she's still big. She's still famous here in her own way. But she's no longer got the... the two things that have worn off for her is obviously she came to prominence in 2012 with what was effectively a viral video. And that's never a setup for long-term international success. It gave her a breakthrough into the international scene. People noticed her. She did a lot of touring. I'm not sure if she does much international touring anymore, but certainly I saw her when I was in England right before I left a couple of times, as you guys know. And, that even then you could kind of tell it wasn't quite as big as it had been like a couple of years earlier. But that's what you'd expect from something like that. She was kind of riding off the wave of a temporary international success. In Japan, her success has been pretty much in line with what you'd expect. If anything, her durability's been quite good because she stays in the media. She's very media savvy. She's on telly a lot. She does a lot of those TV panel shows where they have people come in and just help them react to stuff and stay in the bubble in the corner going, like that. So she does a lot of those. She does a lot of commercial work as well. So she keeps herself prominent enough, and then she keeps on doing her music, and her music I think is doing pretty much as well as you'd expect for a pop star of that ilk who's now a good decade into her career. Oh my god, maybe she'll go on hiatus. I've got to scroll up, guys, so now you can see what happens, right? So I get caught behind. There's nothing wrong with shock value. It's what made them popular. Yeah, shock value can work if it's the packaging for something good, which is what it was. So so basically I agree. Neon feels like the 3 albums had 3 different tones. The first one was fun and yet gimmicky, and second felt like once they had become well known, they went for a more serious tone, almost like they wanted to be taken more seriously as a band in the metal scene. And third seemed to go on a more pop and experimental vibe. I'll say what I said before. One of the fun things is that I totally called so much about Metal Galaxy before it came out. I totally predicted so many things about it correctly. But the progression to me seemed natural. I completely agree. The first album was the product of them being a Sakura Gakuin side project that had sort of caught on. And then after you suddenly become like internationally famous and people are screaming your name all around the world, and you've got metal fans turning up, well then you look around, it's like, okay, who are we going to hire for our next writing project? It's like, let's do a proper metal album. It makes sense. But then they covered all their bases with that. And the interesting thing is that they are not, because they're not a standard metal band, their approach is not going to be what a metal band would normally be, which is, okay, well that was really good. Let's try to do something like that. Let's stick to that tone. It's like, no, they're going to go for a very different approach. They're going to try and reinvent it. So what's the one space they haven't gone into? And the one space they hadn't gone into was high production, collab style, basically sort of chart style approach to metal. And that's what they did next. So to me, the entire progression of the first 3 albums, it seems totally logical. It makes sense. But yeah, no, I agree. They all have totally different voices, totally different feel. 3 very different albums. Alright, cool, we're up to date, so I can turn around to read these. Loon says, seeing them gradually get further and further away from the style that made them famous, and the shocking song, like, line, Ine? Makes me sad. Oh, Ine, the song Ine. Yeah, don't get me wrong, in a way, there's a part of me which would love to see them do what they did on that first album, because I do feel like, for me, one of the things that Baby Metal have gained so much in the way of quality, but the one thing that I really feel that they lost was the charm that first album had. I know they're older now, they can't be the same people they were, but I loved the fact, songs like In Air, Doki Doki Morning as well, just this idea that the song can both be like really, really rocking along well, but also be totally charming and kind of poppy and a little bit sweet. That's fun. I think they had that a little bit on Metal Resistance in places, and on Metal Galaxy it was kind of gone. I think that was part of the fact that when they're going down to 2 members, I think that had a big impact on it as well. So I'm falling behind a bit on the comments again. Let's try and reply to a few a bit quicker this time, catch up. So, Bleats, how you doing, man? Fairly sure Baby Metal became popular because it was creative, something missing from most rock metal in 2010. Well, that's the thing. A gimmick can be a creative thing. I mean, this is important to remember. A gimmick can actually be a very wise creative choice. I say this, Bandmaid's idea of dressing as maids. That is, you can say it however you want. It is the definition of a gimmick, but it's also very good business, because what you're doing is you're making yourselves look more amusing, because you clearly take yourselves with a bit of lightness, but you're also doing that image juxtaposition that I talked about in one of the previous videos, which is very good for making people curious about what you are, and it also gives a charm because clearly you can see yourselves in a sense of light. So gimmicks don't have to be separate or disconnected from the valid creative process. They can be integral to it. I think that's the thing, is just too many people are too serious to do something that might seem a bit crazy, and thus the idea of a gimmick becomes something that is referred to or made to seem shallow. Alright, I'm falling even further behind now, and nobody can read a word of what's on the screen anyway. Thanks, Rev, but I can. Mini Patty is the cooking club. That's the one. Yes, cheers, Loon. But there's something there for everyone, though, which is why so many people like them, says Neon. I agree. That's one of the things they bring. I think they bring a real mixture of styles that makes everyone feel welcomed. Neon nailed it, I think. Yeah, I agree. Howard, Kyary's new album couldn't sell even 3,000 copies in the first week. Silent Sirens sold more. That's interesting. I'm still behind the comments, but I'm just going to address that. I don't know why that is then. That does seem rather curious because, there is perhaps one reason, which is the lack of a particularly strong single. Because it's not that she lacks the fame, but the problem is someone, when you work in pop, and this is going to make pop sound so much more shallow, but it's true. And again, I'm not saying this is a derogatory thing. I'm saying this just to announce the facts. When you work in pop, the whole setup's very different. Yeah, you get groups like idol groups where people will just buy anything they sell. Anything they sell. So, I love you, I'll buy anything you sell. That happens. You get rock bands, you guys all know this. Rock bands, people pre-order the album before they have any idea if it's going to be good or not, just because they like the band, so they feel pretty sure it's going to be good. But if you're a solo pop singer, that's a pretty rough one. You have to deliver with a single, because people buy based on, okay, this sounds like it's going to be a good album. It's interesting that, actually. I'd never really thought about that before. But, people are less likely to pre-order that kind of thing. So I think the fact that she hasn't put out a particularly strong single from this album is perhaps a big part of that. 3,000's a shame. 3,000 is a shame. I think Silent Siren are always going to be an easier area because they are, they're a band. People pre-order music from bands. It's the connection is felt stronger, I think. But it's a shame. It is a shame. I didn't know that, but I think as well, probably didn't help that they gave the entire album away free on their YouTube, because it kind of highlighted to everyone, hey, we don't have any strong singles in this thing. People probably clicking through looking for a strong single. It's like, oh, there isn't one. Probably put people off buying. Here's me actually saying that someone probably shouldn't have shared something. I don't see MG as a poppy album at all. I prefer the poppier stuff, but just can't listen to the Metal Galaxy album, says Loon. It has pop ideas in it, even if it's not necessarily poppy. Baymetal's idea had no. Also, Baymetal's idea made no sense. Young girls singing poppy sounding lyrics over metal. If they'd started out sounding like their second album, they probably would have got so much attention. No, I don't think so. I totally disagree with that. Let me just read that again. Baymetal's idea had made no sense. Young girls singing poppy sounding lyrics over metal. If they'd started out sounding like their second album, they probably would have. No, I totally disagree. If anything, I think they would have done well. They wouldn't have been able to. Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to construct that sound off the bat. I mean, that was something that clearly developed. But no, I think, no, we all remember when that first album came out, and everyone was sharing it because you could share it to anyone. You could have I heard it at house parties where there wasn't a single person who was into metal, and everyone was listening to it. Like, what's this? And even if those people never became long-term fans, that's how you spread the name. If like Metal Galaxy had released, that wouldn't have been just playing in general parties. That wouldn't have been playing everywhere. That would have just been playing to the metal fans. And the metal fan, things move faster when they move in all directions. So if it had just been moving through metal fans, I don't believe it would have spread with quite the same impact. I mean, a lot of the metal fans as well, when they see this, they probably go through like loads of time, been trying to play metal to their friends, maybe got friends who are not into metal, and they're like, my friends never listen to the music I like, and then suddenly they see this thing that is like, what's this baby metal thing that my non-metal friends are listening to as well? So where did this thing come from? And it kind of endears them, suddenly their friends are like talking, hey, I've heard this metal thing I like. That I really saw that with my own eyes, very much. And I heard other people give similar stories. I do think, don't get me wrong, I think that, they did a really, so I'm just going to double check some of the things. Second album. I'm just checking what you said, so I don't want to misquote you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think the second album was brilliant. I think it is the correct direction. It's the direction I should have gone in, and I think it was fantastically executed. But if Metal Resistance had dropped first, I promise you, they would not be the household name they are. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. So, me and Rev often agree, but on that one, totally disagree. Sorry, I got to put that in there because I'm sure a lot of people are going to bite my hand off for that opinion now. I'm always honest, guys. I'm always honest. What I am listening to most, Bandmade album EP wise, the recent Wisely Brothers album, new Walking After You EP. I need to check that out. EJPP. Don't know EJPP. Don't know what EJPP is, but it sounds interesting. It's got PP in the title as well. Child. And singer-songwriter Tomo and sultry Korean bass badass Luli Lee. Yeah, although Luli Lee wasn't necessarily my kind of thing, I'd say if anyone's looking for sort of quality, chilled out music, music that's kind of like good to really vibe to, then yeah, Luli Lee was great actually for that. Sorry, we've been talking about this. I just realised actually this all came from one question. I haven't even moved on to the next question yet. I must say Tomo really grew on me. Luli much less, but I got chili beans to fill that gap. Yeah, I think Tomo and Luli are. I think you could like both, or you could like one or the other. But I'd say if right now you're looking for something just nice. And light and nice, it's just going to make you sort of feel good but not be crap. These are two artists to go to. Funnily enough, that's kind of what I said about Silent Siren in that space. I wanted to be filled in a Silent Siren shaped hole that could be left in the music industry. However, the one that I differentiate is that they are very energetic. They're a form of energetic happiness. It's really hard to imagine something so energetic and yet so light. It's like, it really makes you want to dance, but doesn't sort of hit you too hard. Yeah, Silent Time really had a fantastic formula. Wow, we got 17 likes. Big appreciation for that, everyone. Thank you so much. Let's see, I got nothing against the third album, but when this is obviously Neon. Not that you can see it, I can. When I stick a playlist on to bob along to the second album, all I tend to miss a lot of Metal Galaxy. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of songs that I really like on that, but actually I did tend to lean towards the singles. I mean, Shanty Shanty, it's actually pretty good, you know. I mean, that's the song that at first I wasn't too much on, but then just as it went round, I was like, okay, there's not much to this song, but it just works. So that became one that I kind of enjoyed. Really like Elevator Girl, as long as it's not the fucking English version. So I'm not just weaving. You guys know I did a whole video. Oh man, please tell me that's not on this was on the last channel, wasn't it? I did a whole video explaining musically why the English translation ruined the song, and it was just down to like one little syllable delivery that killed the most important part of the chorus. I could deal with the rest of it, but I just couldn't deal with the fact that it wrecked the rhythm of the chorus. But yeah, love Elevator Girl. It's an amazing song. I really like Papaya, which I know confuses a lot of people, but you know, that one really worked for me. And BMC as well. I really like that song. Yeah, I think most of my favourite songs on Metal Galaxy were probably the singles, which says a lot about the tone they were going for, if nothing else. Okay, I think because I haven't scrolled down, there's probably a lot of comments coming in that I'm falling further behind, so I need to catch up on these. See, what you've seen in a minute, this is what happens often, where, you know, when I'm like reading your comments and then I go to scroll down and go, oh god, I've fallen further behind. You're about to see what happens. So Fernanda says Baby Metal should all graduate and be replaced for younger generation Rebirth. After all, it's an idol band. We discussed that actually, I think, on a previous live chat, and I was saying how I thought that would be. Actually, someone suggested that might be what happens when they come back from their hiatus. That they're actually a different band, and like they've graduated to be replaced, which I thought was kind of funny. I think that was mentioned in the comments actually, maybe of my Baby Metal. Anyway, I don't think they should, would, or could ever do that because of the fact they got such a Western audience who would totally reject the concept and probably never heard of it. However, I would find it really amusing until I realised that they were gone, then I would feel kind of sad. Just add Kyary. Anyway, CMC. I quite like also Hammered Shark and Meaningful Stone. Okay, don't know those. Found the big news, big reveal. Howard said he did something ultra dumb and would tell all in the live stream. Yeah. Move myself into an apartment with a projector. That's the dumb thing I did. Alright, here we go. So it looks like I'm right down at the bottom yet, and then I click this, watch. There you go. Bam! It shoots up and I get a load of extra comments. Alright, let's try and read up on these. I wouldn't be against okay, I'm just going to move forward. Miku Yamasaki from SG to do it. Yeah, I'd love to see some of the Sakuragaku girls working with Baby Metal. Or replacing as the case might be. Oh, that is the bottom. Oh, good, I'm down to the bottom. Okay. Sorry for the confusion. Typo. I meant wouldn't about Baby Metal. Oops. Did I go off on an entire rant about something that you didn't even say? I have to check that. Harry, what the fuck did I just listen to? Watch was a big part of Baby Metal's fame. Yeah, no, and again, this is something that comes up in the video I did about how artists can break through, and I'm really glad so many people have watched that video. And that was just 1 hour of me chatting. I should probably do more videos like that, only when I've got a good topic. But a lot of people have watched that video and got some really amazing comments back on that. It's about a year ago I posted that probably now. But yeah, no, I thank you so much for anyone who's watched that. But yeah, that's kind of part of what I was saying there, is that there's nothing wrong with gimmicks. I mean, gimmick is just a form of marketing. It's just a way of making people turn their head and look at you. So long as it doesn't detract from your music, which it obviously doesn't. If anything, like I say, it aided their music. It was a gimmick that also was beneficial to their music. CMC, graduate. but then they are no longer babe metal. Is Sue metal not the beating heart of them? Not trolling, genuine question as I am not a fan or invested in them. So EJPP was Elfin Japanese Piano Pounder. Oh, okay. Don't worry, I got it before you rewrote it, but thank you for explaining further. Yeah, no, she's wonderful. I do love Toma. So I kind of agree with what CMC is saying. I mean, that's part of my reply to Fernando. I think that was said jokingly. But yeah, without Sue, I can see from a Japanese market that they would probably maybe be okay with that, but I think they've graduated beyond being an idol group more to the point. Sven has retracted a message. God knows what awful, terrible, heinous things he wrote there. Harry Scandals one more time. Energetic and like, yeah, was it? I think it might have been a live stream last time. I was saying one more time has really caught me out. I've been listening to that song a lot. It's nothing really to it. It's just very nice and light and fun. Is there a possibility that you would do a video on active listening and what, if any, techniques to use to critically listen rather than casually listen? CMC says, that's a really good question. Okay, this is, well, I'm going to address this briefly now, and I'll see if while I'm talking, if it seems like a topic worth going into more depth, then I will. As you guys know, I mean, just to paint the picture, obviously, one of my best friends for many a year before he married, he married a very lovely woman. She's wonderful. She is Christian though, and she did take offense to a joke I made about Jesus. It wasn't a rude joke, it was just a little joke, and so ever since then, don't really see him so much anymore. But one of my best friends growing up, you guys know, he's the one, hi-fi experts. We went to a lot of hi-fi shows together and everything. And that's kind of where I really got the first taste of how to do proper listening. Not necessarily critical listening, but how to properly set yourself up to hear it. And there's a lot of things to do with removing distractions. Like, if you can get in a room where you can just get a nice shake and turn off the lights, that is really helpful. If you're just the sort of person who just closes your eyes when you listen to music, that's fine. It works just as well. Yeah, if you really want to take in a song, though, it's the most important thing is about removing stuff. I think a lot of people are really interested in how you get it across. Don't get me wrong. Good speakers, yes. Good headphones, in my opinion, even better. And that is true. You want to do it brilliantly. But we are at a point, technologically wise, where, for example, I mean, me and this friend in question, we did a lot of really interesting experiments with audio, which were kind of debunking a lot of theories that people had. Like, for example, the idea that vinyl sounds better, which it absolutely doesn't, but there are reasons to believe it sounds warmer and maybe more nostalgic and appealing to some people in other ways. But one of the big things that came up was the idea that we tested it, and realistically 320 kilobyte per second MP3, so basically the highest quality MP3, we put it through some insanely expensive speakers alongside raw audio. And yeah, you could totally hear the difference. But in a way that we kind of all agreed didn't actually damage the experience. It's like, okay, this one's better, but there's nothing that you can't hear on the MP3. There's nothing that is ruined or damaged. It's just one is a little bit more crisp. And we then tested it on some more domestic audio equipment, and we came to the conclusion, we did some audio tests as well, that on most people's audio equipment, the difference between raw audio and 320k MP3 is not something that we think most people would be able to properly ascertain. And don't get me wrong, I mean, obviously, I love the art. I love the art of creating music. And so I'm a great believer that it's about, you want to get a good quality audio. If you're going to get a lossless version of an album, then all the better for you. Brilliant. Good for you. But I think what's more important than anything is removing other stuff. People don't realize how much noise there is around you. Even if you sit in a room on your own, supposedly silent room, you are hearing sounds around you. This is another reason why I prefer headphones. I used to prefer speakers. This is another reason why now I prefer headphones, is because headphones help to, in the process, remove other sounds. But because this is why it'd be difficult to do a video. I mean, I could do an opinion video, but it's a very contentious issue. I think, for me, the real art of listening critically. Then again, to point out, obviously, I am the same person who, when we talk about musical instruments, I very openly say I think a lot of the time musical instruments over a certain price, you're no longer paying for it to be better. There are some exceptions. I mean, don't get me wrong, like a Paul Reed Smith, there is something about the neck on a Paul Reed Smith that does make it easier to play. But then you have to be at a certain level of musicianship to even take advantage of that. I think people do obsess too much on technology. And I love technology, but so I would say if you're, to be honest, actually, it's probably an advice I generally give for everything, and I've probably kind of harked on about this before, but if you want to be good at playing music, if you want to listen to music properly, if you want to do any of those things from any perspective, you don't need the best equipment. You need decent equipment, and you need the right attitude. You need to have the right approach. You need to have the right, get yourself in the right circumstance, get yourself in the right frame of mind. It's more about you and putting yourself in the right place than it is necessarily about the objects at play. There you go. I'm kind of generalising, because obviously I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of wasting everyone's time with like an hour of waffling about that. But good question. Bet it's rolled off the top by now, isn't it? Oh no, it's right there. Okay. Just rolled off the top. It's fine. Next year I can listen to some great Japanese albums. Stuff I get from my artist this year was only okay. I think a lot of extra stuff will be coming out, but I'm glad to see a lot of stuff's coming out right now from a lot of artists. So yeah, I think a lot of people are looking forward to it. What was G's joke? It could come in handy. No, seriously, it wasn't even. I don't know if I should tell this story publicly. All right, no one knows who it is, so I'll just quickly say it. So I don't want to cast again. I don't want to come across negative, because these are actually two really lovely people. We just don't see eye to eye. There's nothing wrong with these people. They're wonderful people, so kind. Just we don't see eye to eye. But yeah, basically. I was helping them move some bags. I'm not going to go into too much, but I was basically giving them a hand, helping them move some bags. And I was carrying the majority of the weight. So because they're a couple and they, I wanted them to be able to spend time together. And so we got back to where we were going. And because the bags were quite heavy, put a lot of stress on my body. I put down the bags and I let out a fart. And I went, oh, just like Jesus said. Throwaway comment. And apparently, she didn't say anything at the time, but I heard later, next time I saw my friend, that she was really offended by that. So that's all I'm saying. It wasn't even a joke. You want me to? If I was actually there to offend Jesus, believe me, I could go for something more offensive than that. I don't want to offend it. I mean, you guys know I'm an atheist, but I don't want to offend anyone's religion. Without listing everything, I think this year has been lots of good things. Some outstanding Japanese music wise. Though I accept that people's preferences differ wildly. Yeah, I think this year's had some good stuff for music. Some heartbreak, still getting over our upcoming hiatus of Silence Home, but still. MP3 is the work of the devil, says Lou. I don't know what to do with that comment. Oh, there's more underneath. Hello, hey, Decodec, how you doing? Hello. That's nice. We got all the quality people in today. There's some other people who hang around here who are just trash, but we've got quality people in chat today. So Lynn says 14 for basically CD quality is the minimum acceptable quality. Again, look, this thing I want to be very careful about, because I'm not setting the threshold of what you should aim for. I'm setting the threshold of what is. Well, I'm not setting it, but I'm saying that we were very realistic about it, and we checked, and we were basically looking at what really are most people going to lose something from. If you listen below this level, do you really lose something? And like I say, we were working on speakers that were worth thousands of pounds in like specially treated soundproof rooms that had the sort of room where you look at it and think, why would anyone have that in their house? Because you can't do anything in this room. And we were doing that, and we did this at hi-fi shows and everything as well, and it just became very apparent that considering most people don't have that quality of equipment, there is a line under which you start losing stuff from music, and it's not 320. It's not. It sounds better above that, but I'm just saying I wouldn't give anyone a hard time for listening to something in 320. I'd be like, no, it's fine. And considering most people don't really listen to music very carefully anyway, then what the fuck. MP3 was great back when storage was a constraint. Agreed. That's the weird thing, isn't it? I mean, now, I guess that's a question. How do you listen to music? I guess most people stream, in which case the quality should be as high as you want it to be. Not all streaming services stream in a very consistent or accurate or high quality way, it must be said. Then again, like I said, we did check, and from the checks we did, if you were listening right now, if you have a bunch of 320k MP3s, you don't have crappy audio. Okay, it's not that bad. I guess some people, I guess I could give off the vibe of being an anti-elitist, but I'm just being honest here, you know. The album Scandal is currently working on seems to be the lightest album to date based on the singles released at Eternal Library. Yes, I would agree. They certainly are going in that direction. I think One More Time definitely at least hammers home one very clear, successful single. I liked Eternal. I thought it was quite good. Jeez, they really need to work on their song names though. I mean, come on. CMC is one of the reasons for the vinyl sound better miffed down to the master is taken from. If a recording is bad or indifferent to start from, will the media used really change that to an extent? That's a very fair question. Realistically, you hear this a lot of time when people now, you get new songs come out on vinyl. And, you know, you're hearing something that's so clearly digitally made on a vinyl. There's two reasons why people like vinyl. And again, I take a lot of pot shots at vinyl listeners. But again, listen however you like. So long as you're not deluding yourself, it's fine. You know, people say vinyl's better. I'm like, vinyl actually is better quality. Then I'm like, no, we've got a problem because that's objectively wrong. That's falsifiably a lie. But vinyl does sound warmer. Part of the inaccuracy is warmth to the sound, which is quite pleasant actually a lot of the time. Yes, it does lower the accuracy, but it's not the same as muffling the sound. It's very complicated to explain, but it kind of just gives everything a slightly more rounded, warm sound. Now, of course, if the engineers wanted to do that, they would do it in the studio, and you could argue that on older records they were maybe mixed or maybe even produced with the knowledge that that's what the record player was going to do. So there's a lot of arguments for saying that for older records, definitely I can see why some people might argue that that's the way they're meant to be listened to. Newer records, I find it very difficult to believe there's any benefit. However, I kind of get it. But I would say personally, I would start with digital. And if you wanted to warm the sound, there's other ways of doing that. You can get a nice old speaker or something. I don't know. That's a little bit of a blunt edge way of dealing with the I'm not going to say problem, but dealing with the sound. Yeah, okay. I mean, if that's what you want it to sound like, then you can. But in regards to your point about how songs are mixed, it all depends on if the song's mixed to be listened to on a record player, which I don't think anyone in the 21st century, at the very least, is doing. Well, certainly not if they care at all about sales. So, yeah, that would be my perspective on that. Just reading it. Sorry, I just want to read the question again, just make sure. Like I say, I think that's. I do think it's too much for a broad thing, and I think the fact that it sounds better is a mixture of nostalgia and the warmth of the sound. Ultimately, though, vinyls will always make nice covers to stick on your wall. I went into a record shop, says Martin, yesterday, and they were playing vinyl through a decent setup, £1,000 worth probably, and it wasn't horrible. Maybe not top notch, but acceptable. I was surprised. Yeah, no, vinyl can sound really good. Again, this goes back to my old 320 kilobyte argument. Here we go again. There we go. Vinyl can sound really good. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you're going to spend £1,000 on a vinyl player, you might as well spend £1,000 on some digital stuff, you know. Just my opinion. Fernando, Howard, have you listened to new Peggy's album yet? Yeah, I have. I've got very mixed feelings about that. I'm trying to do an album review on it. You guys know I really like the Peggy's, but this one's going to take me a little bit of thinking. There's some great tracks on there, but there's also some problem tracks on there for me. And when I say problem, I mean areas where I'm like, there's something that, this part of the Peggy's I like is slightly at risk here. But, you can never blame a band for making progression. I really liked they did some really cool complicated stuff on there where I really felt the growth though, which was awesome. Anyway, I will do an album review for that. New Pig is good, really like it. That's good to hear. Yeah, a lot of people have been enjoying the new album, which I'm really glad to hear. I need to give it a few more listens. I've only listened to it twice all the way through so far. So, take my words with a pinch of salt for now. Loon says, over here. My uncle swears by vinyl. He says it sounds warmer and more natural. Those are the words. I just think it sounds clicky and hissy and for cleaner sounds of 24-bit audio. Yeah, but his point is not wrong. I mean, he hasn't said it's better. Well, he said it's better for him. Because if he's saying, it is warmer and more natural. I mean, natural is a bit of a strange word. I mean, I know what vinyl listeners mean when they say natural, but it's kind of one that I wouldn't necessarily use in this context. But yeah, no, I 100% get what he is saying in that context, and so he's right in his own way. But I don't understand. Just for me, I don't understand how that's the way you'd want to listen to audio. But, there's a lot of people who do because that's what they grew up with. That's how music sounds to them. That's the way they're used to hearing it. But interesting point. Seems like if the music is bad or the recording is bad, the quality of the recording is pretty much immaterial. Surely. It's like if you're going to listen to like an old 30s jazz record, it is true that at that point, this is a mad, you might as well listen to that on 64K MP3 or something. Makes no difference. Maybe just the sound of the mechanical crackling of an old record player makes it sound more in context. I enjoyed the Peggy's new album too. A lot of people seem to really enjoy that, so maybe I need to be a little bit lighter and give it a little bit more. Maybe I need to be a little less harsh. I went into it with very high expectations, I am aware, which might have not worked for me, but I need to take my time on that. Thank you for the 18 likes, by the way, really appreciate that. Keep them coming. There's no making a bad recording sound better. No, there are ways to polish a turd, but ultimately if the parts have been put together and it's been mastered, it's a bit too glued together to really pull apart. You can do certain things that can help, but ultimately if you're in a position where you're having to help a completed recording, then it's probably beyond help in truth. CMC, new the Peggy's album, decent, but I preferred the older ones. Interesting, actually. Interesting. I wasn't expecting CMC to say that, but I'm interested to. I'll discuss that with you maybe after I put out the review. What are you all discussing? Says Decodec. I just want to see what the reply was to that because someone's already Loon's replied to Decodec. You said the benefits of high res over lossy. Kind of. Yeah, we're kind of discussing that in a few points. And we only discussed two of our polls. We've got like a bunch more to go through, so I should probably jump onto those in a minute. In my honest opinion, all equipment doesn't get hugely better as the price increases over a certain level. $1,000 setup doesn't sound 2 times as good as 500 one-dimensional returns for sure. Yes, and most people who work in audio will agree with you. I don't know if they'd necessarily agree with the threshold. Certainly that threshold has got lower over time. But it is true that over a certain point, because obviously ultimately audio is, you're using 2-point speakers or 2-point headphones. It's not the same as generating the sound from life-size objects. So there becomes a point where the audio, not to be too boring here, but the audio, there has to be a degree of spatial interpretation. How the sound is spaced out and sent to you. So you can get it to, you've got people getting it to crystal clear quality, but then how does it transmit? And then that also goes into how you mix it, all kinds of things, how the speakers or headphones deal with certain frequencies. It's a very complicated subject after you get to a certain point. I think most people would agree that it starts to become subjective at a certain point. Again, why I don't think it's useful for people to be too elitist about equipment. Right now, it seems to be listening and audio quality. CD is the best, period. Lol. CD keeps the warmness also. Yeah. Nothing to say to that. Yeah, I just agree. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, you can get lossless files, which are going to be better because they can come through in higher res than a CD. But yeah, if you're just looking at the base physical formats, then CD wins out. Yeah. You missed the which Baby Metal album was best and why it is metal resistance discussion, and has all digital benefits. I do separate mixes for records. Separate mixes for records. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Again, actually, Decoder's got a good point there. You will find that sometimes a record will be mixed, or that will certainly mastered two separate ways. Lossless, more carbon friendly. Save those trees, cheaper and more convenient for the same audio quality. Well, lossless, obviously, when it's talking lossless, then you're just talking about a digital file. You can go to whatever levels you want. There's no limitation. So, lossless, yeah, why not? Fun fact, the Asian Country Generation singer records the vocals by himself, so completely alone in his own studio. Some singers will do that. That's not unheard of, especially these days. I don't know how prevalent that is, actually. But I know some singers will definitely do that. Records are as fragile. Well, speaking of mixing, I'm going to go back to mixing. I was going to read Decodec's last comment. Thank you for nipping by the way, fella. Oh, he's got a few more comments. Right, I'll catch on. Neon, hey, agreed, CDs are best. Alright, so CD gang is here. I'm not going to throw gang signs. You get a thumbs up. That's the whitest thing ever. There you go. I think like a lot of people, I have, for the packaging of vinyl, makes people regard it more favourably. If there was an audio filter that could make digital sound like vinyl, few would use it. Very true. There is a few audio filters that can make digital sound like vinyl. You'd be unhappy to know. There's a really old one that came out on one of the original versions of Cubase. I think it was about 20 years ago, called Grungelizer. And you could set like the frequency of the hum you wanted for the record and the amount of crackling and everything. Oh my god, that was cheesy and I loved it. You want to make something sound crap? Throw that on. CDs are so superior for their own sound. I have done comparisons with good setup CDs, vinyl, then MP3. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, when we did our experiment, we were using a mixture of. We had some lossless, but we ended up not using it so much because the CD was so damn good anyway. So we did CD, MP3 at 320, and vinyl. And like I say, we found that CD to MP3 is a very noticeable difference on high quality audio. On the audio equipment most people use, admittedly this was about 10 years ago, so it's probably improved a little bit, maybe. Might have changed a little bit, but CD to 320 wasn't that noticeable for most people on standard domestic audio equipment. Oh well, family calling, have fun. Oh, Sammy's off as well. Everyone's on their way, and to be honest, this will probably happen about 10 years ago, because I'm so behind on the comments. I feel like when astronomers look out to the stars and they're seeing stars, but they're seeing stuff from like millions of light years ago, and they're like responding, going, "Oh, look what that star's doing," but actually that star's probably already burnt out and disappeared. That's what I feel like this chat is right now. Ben Cassette. No one was talking about cassette. I feel that Scandal include too many already released songs in the new album. I hope their next album feels more like complete. Yeah, but that's kind of the Japanese way nowadays, especially. That was a big thing about the Bish album. It's like, here's our new album. 2 songs you haven't already heard. Have a good one, everyone. Stay awesome. You too, sir. You too. I really appreciate you popping by. Thank you for popping by, sir. It's great to see you. I would love to have everything on CD, but budget means lossless is where my budget puts me. And yeah, but CMC, you are right. I mean, I would love to have stuff on CD for the physical thing, but cost and moving. But lossless, at least you've got the audio in good quality. Possibly better quality than CD in full fairness. CD codec, yeah, indeed. I had to say that. If you play a digital recording and then put on a CD right afterwards, there's a huge difference, vice versa. I'd be interested to get an idea of what you mean, but because obviously, technically speaking, all the CD is doing is it's just a medium to send digital audio to you, in the same way that when you listen to a digital recording, it is just being transmitted from the hard drive. Let's say you're using a mechanical hard drive like I am. It's the same thing. It's a disc being read and digital ones and zeros being sent to make sound. So I can't see why there would be any difference between a digital recording and a CD, as they are both digital recordings, unless we're talking about the resolution. And of course, if you've got your CD and your 44,100 and all that, I mean, basically, you're just asking, is the other digital recording higher resolution or lower? That would seem to be the only way I could see of pointing that out. So, and when I compare the price of the two, my bank balance is a huge difference. yeah, exactly. So true. All right, take care, Decodec. Indeed, new vinyl album about 20 quid, CD about 10-15, and download about 8-10. So quality budget, yeah. Indeed, Decodec here. Missing is Mexi. Yeah, about the whole crew is here. Genuine Christian. Vinyl sounds bare audiophile argument usually refers to albums that were recorded on analog or before the massive compression came in, or when... Okay, that's a good point. I need to get another drink. I'm going to answer that. We're way over time on this one, but we've got some interesting conversation going on. So I'm just going to get another drink. All right. So that goes back to what we were saying about where the audio comes from. Was it recorded in a format that was originally supposed to be... was it originally supposed to be seen as, coming across on a record player? And in that case, obviously you get a very different sound. So it could have been mixed or mastered with that in mind. By the way, is the camera still working? Yeah, it is. Sorry, it just looked like it wasn't working. So it could have been mixed or mastered with that in mind. It's not out of the question. I think that you might be right that a lot of what they're talking about isn't actually anything to do with vinyl at all, but it could actually be the era. So they could say music from this era sounds better, because maybe when they're talking about vinyl music, it's not so much vinyl they're talking about, it's just the fact that the records that came out on vinyl were from an era before compression was really used in the way it is now. And then CDs did start to arrive, what was it, mid-80s, wasn't it? CDs? Yeah, like 19... I mean, when they started being used commercially, I think they were being invented in the 70s, but they were commercially used, I think, from the mid-80s. And that was around about the time that, apart from anything else, a lot of computer technology started being used in music. You had a lot more synthetic sounds in music around that time. So I think there could be a lot of factors being seen together to create that effect. It's a good point. Thank you, CMC, for the Reddit, and Harry for the Discord links. I am going to, because I want to wrap this one up before it gets too late, I'm going to jump into a few more of the... so we're going to do a bit of speed round and go through some of them. So best song... These are the polls again. Best song on Bandmaid's Sense single. I'm like this has settled down. So Corallium, the third song, has obviously come in number one. I know everyone loved that, 53%. Sense has 21%, so it's regained a little bit of ground. So, 1 in 5 people thought the actual single was the best song on the single. And then the other one, whose name I've forgotten because I wrote it in Japanese, it basically translates as Spark. That's got 26. I'm still torn between the last two, but I like both those songs a lot. This was a big one. I knew how this was going to go. I just wanted to see the proportions and the comments. Who would you like to see guest drumming for Silent Siren on their final, for now, tour? I was glad a lot of people mentioned the drummer from Girlfriend. I didn't think about her, but that was a very good point. I put in someone else writing comments, and we got some really good comments on that. And I had Akane from Bandmaid and Marina from Scandal. Unsurprisingly, I'm not surprised that Akane got more, just because, Bandmaid are more, they're the more it band at the moment. 63%. Honestly, I thought it was going to be higher. So I'm really glad that Rena got 24. That's great. I was really glad to see that. I think a lot of people as well were registering the fact that Akane knows Silent Siren. She's good friends with them. I would, if I miss, unfortunately I can't see how anyone I'm going to be able to afford this. If I miss these gigs, if I miss this tour, and Akane plays with them, I'm never going to I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. So I was looking through some of the comments on that, and yeah, a lot of people mentioned about someone mentioned about Mutant Monster. That's a good choice. But a lot of people saying about ex-girlfriend drummer. Ex-girlfriend drummer. So a couple more. Have you seen a Japanese artist live in your country? Now this one I was really interested about. I put in a bunch of options for this. So more than 5 times, 2 to 4 times, just the once, no, or I'm Japanese, so of course. Someone really well pointed out, I tried to make this airtight, but I didn't put in an option for 5 times. I put in more than 5 times. I meant to say 5 times or more. So I got beaten on that. But basically, more than 5 times got 14%, 2 to 4 times got 20, just the once 21. So that means that in total, 55% of the people who answered that, 55% of the 85 people who answered, had seen Japanese artists in their country. And 41 said no, and 4% said I'm Japanese, so of course. It's about 3 votes. That's great. So that's interesting. Interesting. Like a good number of you have, but a lot of you are still waiting, which is unsurprising because it's not always easy. I mean, the world's a big place, and unfortunately these artists don't go everywhere because they've got comparatively difficult budgets. They can only go to the big cities and places usually where they think they're going to get their monies back for touring. And then this one was a fun one. Last one I posted a few days ago, actually. I've got a couple of ones I wanted to post, but I haven't got around to it. Do you ever check the lyrics on Japanese songs? The last one is me basically, the last one which is written in Japanese, you can probably guess what that is. But so, no, I don't really care so long as the music is good. Got 16%, seems reasonable. Yes, occasionally got 26%, so about a quarter of them. This was interesting. Yes, but only for my favourite artist got 39%, so that's a really big one. And yes, most of the time, 11%. So about 11% are really into the lyrics, like really into the lyrics. Let's have a look at some of the comments then. Howard's projection is about 10 seconds behind live. Oh yeah, because you can see, you can see my yeah, you can see. That's cool. That's normal. The OBS is never running at the same pace. Very odd to see him vanish, but will be on the projection. Hibana is really good. Toss up between, that's it, Hibana. That and Corallium, in my honest opinion. Sense, certainly number 3. Yeah, I totally agree with Martin on that. Mirai, support for Sai. This is so unrealistic. Wait, what? Mirai has support for Sai. Did you change the options available? Oh no, oh, sorry, Mirai as, sorry. This is so unrealistic. Yeah, sorry, I thought Mirai, but it was Mirai. Yeah, it is unrealistic, but it was more about what people want than anything else. Did you change the options available? I haven't changed any of the options. I never changed them after they're posted. I'm not even sure you can. Once people start voting, I think you can't change them anymore. Okay, so for now, I've got to run. Have a great week, folks. Stay safe until the next time. Bye-bye. And you know what? I'm going to join him on that particular note. I want to say a big thank you to everyone. It has been a real pleasure doing this. I'm really glad that, because the stream started off a bit slow, I'm glad that we got into some really cool conversation by the end of it. We've been going for an hour and a half. I've been enjoying it, but yeah, I think it's a bit of time for me to chill out now. So, again, raise a glass if it's the time to do so. Have yourself a good morning, good lunchtime, afternoon, evening, night, sleep, whatever you're doing. Have a good one. I am going to pack it all in now. Big thanks to all those last comments coming in. Oh, let's bring OBS back on the screen. Yeah. Open the door. A bit of light in there. Yeah, because actually I might as well. Got a nice sizable place for today. I just see what I needed right now, you know. It's what I needed. But I didn't need to be blinded. Blinded by the... Can't sing it, copyright blank. Let's have some vomit cam. Alright guys. I'll see you next time. But for now, show me as I press the button. Here it is. So when it's time to say ciao ciao, first of all I press the bog roll button. I can't say it properly. Press the bog roll button so it switches to the bog roll frame. And then there's one underneath it, which, it's a shame you can't really see it. If I get closer with it eventually. Anyway, you've already seen that says sayonara. That's my bye-bye frame. Of course, we've got things to do, which is the other frame as well. Alright, guys. I'm going to press the bog roll frame for you. For now, ciao, ciao. Alright, let's read some of these comments. Read some of these comments just before I say proper goodbyes. Oh wow, a lot of people suddenly started commenting. Why are you doing this to me? Why? I finished. The first time I saw the poll, I didn't vote, but later saw an option for people here. Good. No, I did post that straight away. That the Japanese option was always there. Since I work on subtitling scandal songs, I obviously went with the yeah. No, I already guessed your answer, Harry. Don't worry. Great discussion. Thank you very much, Esther, and thank you very much to have you here as well. I always like when we have some people who come in and give us a little bit of a people. You know, there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of people who are here who I'm the same when I go on other people's YouTube channels who just don't really say anything. You just sort of chill out and listen. So I'm glad if you're enjoying it, then I'm very happy to hear that, certainly. So, wait a second, there's a little emoji. What's it? Three little glasses, lovely. CMC's popped the Reddit link in there again. As always, guys, please do follow these links. It's really appreciated. And do pop a like. 22 likes, thank you so much, it's really kind. With that, he breaks the mic. Did I break I hope I didn't break the mic. Wait a second, let me check the audio feedback. I didn't break the mic, right? No, you can hear me good. Lol, what did he do to his mic? What? Bear fuzz sounds like an explosion. Ciao ciao for now. Really? Okay. Let's check that. That should be okay now. Ciao ciao for now. Is it on? He put us on vinyl mode. Bye bye everyone. Alright guys, well hopefully the vinyl mode didn't kill you too much. Kin. CRT emulate. Fun times today, more chat, less when I went down the police station waffle. Thanks dude. Alright guys, see you later. For now, it really is ciao ciao.